Welcome to another episode of Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is Ike Grande, and if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped to get off. And what a surprise! Who is sitting in my seat? None other than award-winning content creator, porn model, Renaissance man, right? Joel Someone.
Could you add like, yay!
Yeah, I'll
sound
add some
effect,
audience.
ah! I would love that, and me even saying it too is kind of cute.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you. I feel like I'm like the slime of this podcast. It just kind of like dripped down, and everybody's like, oh, there's Joel Someone on this season as well.
Here we go again. This is actually still season 4.
There's a lot of Joel Someone on this season.
This is the second time that you will be on season 4. For a good reason. I mean, it's...
Thank you. I'm glad I'm deserving.
Well, no. I mean, it's still season 4 because of the fact that the history ones, they take a lot of time, a lot of research, and all that. And I like to throw in a couple of interviews with models and producers and directors and stuff.
Good softball interview.
Yeah, so when you were in town again, I actually you were like, hey, is it too soon? And I was like, it's never too soon for Joel Someone. So we did a couple scenes. We did a couple scenes for Treasure Island. Well, we caught up a little bit, but I want to know what's been going on since the last year.
A lot. I got to be with my beautiful boyfriend, King Dwarf, for, has it been a year? Another year, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
We're doing great. I love them to pieces. We're definitely struggling with a lot more travel now. Because now we've always had very separate careers, and so we have been noticing our schedules not keeping us together as much, and so we are definitely getting better about the making sure we try to make time for each other, because that's the time you get.
Do you want to talk about the Gay Vienna Awards? Or?
Oh, really? Really? Are you gonna?
I don't know.
You're gonna siphon it out of me? You're gonna siphon it out of me? Like, oh. Did you have something to say?
Drip, drip, drip.
Did you have some gossip that you possibly wanted to share with me?
It doesn't have to be gossip. Do you have any? How were the Gay Vienna Awards?
They were lovely. They were lovely. The sportsmanship could have been a little bit better than it had been in years past, but what are you going to do about that?
Yeah, did they Belichick a couple of awards? Or?
I don't know. I don't know nothing.
What was it? Deflategate? Remember that during the Super Bowl 1 year?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe they did.
Right.
But you're not getting you're not taking a goddamn thing
sus.
from me.
It's all right. I don't like I said before. This is a independently run podcast.
The people who annoyed me for the AVN Awards will hear about me in person. Don't worry.
All right. So you had a good time.
I had a good time. I made a couple of really nice new friends. I became friends with Ryan Landers. He just messaged me. He's like, mention me on the podcast. And so, Ryan Landers.
Name drop?
Well, okay, the one thing I will say, the thing that did kind of suck is, you never notice the little details like them dropping the names at the end of because they'll nominate like 15 people.
Yeah.
And then they'll drop the last 5. And I was sitting right next to this guy, Ryan Landers, super sweet dude, real niche, super interesting guy, has been doing it longer than me, and is a really successful content creator, was up for Best New Content Creator. And he came, bought a suit, you know what I mean, got all done up, and is at the award show with everyone else. And just like, I remember the first year I was nominated, I knew I was fluff. I was like, okay. Joel, someone just get ready to clap. Just like,
I think we all knew that. I think we were. What are you talking about?
Or just any of them.
Who's my baby daddy?
Or just any of them.
Okay.
It's like, and I don't care. But like,
it was a nice night.
Seeing someone pick up their phone, just to even get like see their name, be like, oh, they're gonna call my name now. Nope.
Yeah.
and then I don't know. And then there were some very not gracious award acceptance speeches that I didn't love, which I won't mention specific ones, but just in that moment, I wasn't feeling it. The other thing that had happened too is they had, if fully disclosed, they had just given Michael Ewan the Lifetime Achievement Award, or the Hall of Fame Award, posthumously. He just died this year, and that sucked. It's weird. My dad died this year too. Sorry, slip that in as well. It's like this porn person who I really love, also dad. Dad's dead too.
Well, that's a biggie. That's a biggie. Let's talk about it.
But it was really hard with Michael Ewan because he kind of was a little bit of a porn father for me. Like, I have my own version of who I am, and There are moments when people herald it like yourself, and there are other times you meet people like Ryan Landers, and you feel so comfortable in the fact that you're a little bit off the fray. And then you have those other times where they're like, all right, we're pulling all the real models to the side, and we're going to fetish models, can you come over here? And it just like that divide sometimes happens. But I remember he worked for Naked Sword, and he was one of those people who really believed in me. Like, he was someone who really pushed my career, was really generous with me as a mentor, was something that whenever I went to those award shows was always there. And this year, there was an empty seat for him. And it's always in the balcony with the other chucklehead. It's Roma, Shishi LaRue, and Etheline. And I sat in his seat this year.
Yeah.
And wow, was it just like realization? It felt good because it was like the continuation of things, but it felt really sad that I was the one in his seat. So I missed him. Just like tack all that onto like dad stuff now.
Well, yeah. So tell me a little bit, because I know we spoke after a scene the other day about you losing your dad. What was that?
It was hard. It was hard. I won't lie. I don't know that he was a huge fan of my porn career, and I've kind of always kept my porn life separate from my family, just as a get out, just in case. Like, you know what I mean? Like my mother had run into legal issues at a place she had worked because someone tried to like extort money from her school because her son's a porn actor, and so I liked keeping it separate, just to kind of like, I'm not really around. Joel the porn star isn't one of those people who's kind of constantly like buzzing around your careers and stuff, and so it was just really hard. You know, I've been in this industry long enough to where I've never been jaded. I love this job. You saw me just churn out 3 scenes in 2 days that I was just like, I love it. I absolutely love it. But it did kind of add like a little bit of a hum in the background that just made it a little harder. Like when stuff isn't as easy, it's really not easy. And I had a little bit of the case of the fuckets, which is the other reason I can't be that mad about the AVN Awards. Is this year was a little bit of my Joel someone had a case of the fuckets.
Well, I kind of feel like even Joel someone has to stop. Especially, you know, you didn't have a very close relationship with your dad by the end of it, or did you?
No, not really.
All right, but it's still your dad.
Yeah, totally. It's mostly just shock. It's just kind of like, it's just shock. And digesting it's been hard. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I all of a sudden I think about it every day. Like every day I think about it, and I'm like, oh shit. It's like in the back of my head. I was like, bleh. Sorry, not to seem so flippant on it. That's really the only way I can digest it, is just like make a dad joke or something. None came to mind, sadly.
Well, it's all right. Let's talk a little bit about LA. Let's talk a little bit about...
Yes.
We're in New York right now, so you thinking about going by Coastal, or...
So me and Marco Napoli are still like Bert and Ernie. Like, even though we're not dating, we're still like besties. And it's adorable because we really... He's so my best friend. Mm-hmm. It's so weird. And it's funny. Sorry, Marco, I'm going to let his out too. His dad died this summer too. So it was like both of our fathers died. And it was incredible to have someone there for it. That, like, it was great. I'm sorry, I don't mean to say it was great, but it was just like, it was nice to have someone who completely understood. Mm-hmm. And just like, flew to his side, he flew to my side. Me, him, and King Dwarf all went to New Mexico as a funeral gang. And yeah, it really did seal a lot of the people in my life. Like, it sucked, but the people who it made some of the connections I had a lot stronger. Mm-hmm. And these are people who are my brothers. Like, these are industry. These are the house of someone is all industry folk. What
was that scene like in New Mexico?
It's
do people know? When you go back to New Mexico?
No, it's so well. New Mexico's so polite. They're one of those places where they all know.
Even if they know, okay.
You all know. Let's be clear. You all know. Y'all know.
They've watched.
You've watched.
They subscribe.
You've stumbled upon it. Someone's told you. Someone say, is that John? Is that the guy who used to work at Michael Kors? This him? I don't know. I have a friend who likes this kind of stuff. I'm sure you've watched. I know you've watched. No, it's funny. I go full guns a-blazing. I act like I'm fucking Mae West when I go back to New Mexico. Like I put all my profile photos up, where it's like, yes, like on my Grindr profile, it's like porn actor, shameless, utterly shameless. I'm sorry, I have to prime the pump with my celebrity. When people run up to me on the street and they're like, "Oh my god, are you Joel Someone?" It's because they saw my Grindr post, and I had to remind them. It's not because they saw me and they were excited. I primed the pump. So if anybody's walking around with me and all of a sudden I have people be like, "Oh my god, I love your work," I primed the pump.
So you and Marco are thinking about...
Oh, that's right. New York. Sorry. Thank you for keeping...
No problem.
I know all the candy you fed me on this porno set has thrown me. I am just full of energy and distraction.
It is Champ Robinson's fault. And I'll name drop him for that.
Marco, when me and Marco first started dating, I was living in New York, and he had kind of like a halfway living situation in LA. And he kind of lived out of my apartment for a year or so while he was back and forth to Europe. And then the pandemic happened and we both moved to LA. And he's kind of decided that he kind of wants to dip his toe in New York. Like he wants to have his own little apartment here, even though we've been doing the Burton Ernie thing and sleeping in one bed together for the last couple of weeks. It's so cute. He kind of wants to have like his own apartment in New York, and it would be kind of also something I paid into, so we would kind of jump back and I miss being a New Yorker. I miss it. I was like on the street looking at garbage today and just like, wait a second. That's a nice rug.
Oh.
Full disclosure. I didn't get it, but that was a nice rug on the street. All right, I will say. All right, I know you're all saying, ew, you didn't see the rug.
I did see your post, and I will put up a screen of it. Just because I was like, what is he doing?
That was a hand-woven Pakistani rug.
Yeah.
That rug probably cost like $7,000.
No, and they were just going to get rid of it, right?
And they did. They literally loaded it right into a garbage truck right in front of me. There was like 9 of them, and they were all different. And I come from an antiquing background. I come from a background where I used to be a vintage reseller. And so I go down to Soho, and I see how much hand-tied... Sorry. Side note, yes, me and Marco Napoli are moving to New York, and I'm clearly a neurotic person who picks up garbage off the street.
But you already layered those carpets on your floor. Like, some people do that. They layer...
Oh, You know who was the real driver? Was my mother. My mother was, and it was funny. I told another porn actor this. I'm like, hey, dude, because I was meeting him to work out at the gym. I was going to meet Dan Dennington at the gym, and I'm like, dude, I'm going to be late. And he's like, why? I'm like, I found some rugs on the street. And he's like, ew. I'm like, no, you don't know. They're like, and then I gave him the whole spiel. I'm like, I know one of them's from Pakistan, and this one does look like it's from Iraq. And it's like they're a big fucking deal. Anyway, and so I called my mother, and she got me all hyped up too. She's like, I tried to get a hold of Uncle Tommy or Cousin Rocco. They can't come in from Jersey. They're in South Jersey right now with the tow trucks. They can't come and get it. Like, it was a whole Jersey extravaganza. I tried. And it was like, I was on the freezing street for like 30 minutes, like trying to call a fucking truck.
Why didn't you try a U-Haul?
TaskRabbit? Well, a U-Haul you have to go get.
Oh, and by the time you...
And I was guarding the rugs. They were telling me wow, I can't believe I went in on the story on the rugs. It was... The people who had just taken them out of the restaurant that they were in, because they were still in great condition, had thrown them on the street, and they were like, "You better hurry up and get these out of here, kid. They're going to load these up on the dump truck now. We're doing this now." And so I had rolled them up, and they were huge. One was I think 15 by 10 feet. Like,
even if it wasn't an original rug, that would still, each one of those would be like
garbage versions of that.
Yeah,
fucking garbage versions of that is expensive. Anyway, let's stop talking about the rug. I'm sorry. I didn't cry about my dad, but I might cry about the rug today, okay?
So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, because of the fact that you have the distinct pleasure of being, you and Champ, and I can't remember, I think it's just you and Champ.
Okay.
But you guys have been on every single season of the podcast.
Really?
Yeah. And I am going to find comments.
Nasty comments?
Well, I mean, we can find nasty comments.
Wait.
We can find good comments.
Are you doing opposition research on me or something? Are you trying to find nasty things in my history or something? Like, what are you talking about?
No, not at all. What I'm trying to do is kind of like what I did with Sean Duran. There were some comments, you know, a lot. I just want to see. There's a lot of really, really good comments, but there's some that I don't know. Curious to see how you feel. Would you be game?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I love nasty comments. I love them.
What's the nastiest comment you've ever read outside of anything I might read to you now?
That one where it was like, Joel, someone's everywhere. But what was another one? It's funny, when I do a lot of the trans porn, their fans are really interesting. They like calling me a faggot, which is funny. Like on those ones, they you're probably gonna have to censor that. Like, bleh.
Yeah.
But that's one I've not been called that in a long time, and it's interesting to be like watching a video and then like scrolling through them, and it's like, I don't know. Like, Ava Paradise is so beautiful, and she is such a stunning woman, and it's such a pleasure to watch her with her girly stick. But when she fucks Joel someone, you truly see that he is a. It's like the way he wears that tank top is so gay, and the way he arches his lower back. And can we talk about his girly moaning?
Jesus.
Like, and goes on, and it's interesting, and it's like.
Yeah, detail. That person watched that video from start to finish.
And it goes on for like another paragraph.
Jeez, okay.
So that was interesting. Okay. I'm like, I don't think about you that much, so.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Well, gee, that's interesting because you get that from trans fans.
Yes.
And your gay fans rip you a new asshole every single time you're in a trans scene. They call you a fake gay. They call you an ex-gay. And we've done this before. We've spoken about this. All right, so here's a nice one from 6 months ago. I purchased a video featuring Joel Someone, and he is awesome in all caps.
Thank you.
All right, that's always nice. You can tell when an actor truly enjoys his work, and I appreciate actors that do that. Actors that simply go through the motions to get the money shot are boring, and you can tell that's the only reason they're doing it. Art is so hard. Oh, somebody just quoted you. That was interesting. Okay, so that's from the first season. All right. So
Okay, I was expecting like that to take a turn, because that's the other thing I've noticed sometimes about nasty comments is they have like a misdirect to get you to read it, where it's like, Joel Someone is so talented and I really love him. But recently a cloud has gone over him or something.
I'm reading these cold too. I'm blind, by the way.
Okay.
The first time I saw Joel in a scene, I was a little cold from him. The more I watched him and seeing and hearing him in this series, I've come to think of him as one of the hottest performers I've come across. I tracked down his first bi scene and after he mentioned it on DGP, and I'm incredibly impressed by him now. It's like the conversation he likes with people before filming with them. Knowing someone a little bit makes the experience more intense and enjoyable. Thanks for sharing with us, Joel.
Oh, it's fine. And the reference they're making is I lost my virginity to a girl in my first bi scene. I do that with hookups. Like, on the rare occasion I'm in the mood to just get like fucked. Like, in the rare occasion I just want someone to stick their dick in me, I like consent in love language. I'm like, just so you know, I consent in love language. So I know we're just doing like a quickie and you're going to pour your seed in my guts or whatever, but I might say I love you, so don't be weirded out by it, okay?
This one's kind of a dig at both of us.
Ooh, come through. Oh.
Do you ever interview someone who's actually gay? If Joel Someone is actually gay, like he says in this interview, then why is he in previous interviews state he's bisexual? Why does he list himself as bisexual on Redman? Clearly, Joel can't tell the difference between gay and bisexual. It goes on more towards you, though. Gay for pay. ... Money. He's very good at gay acting.
You were here when just so you know, you all heard me go off on like antique rugs for about 5 minutes. So tell me the heterosexual who does that first.
Gay, you're right.
Sorry, I got the receipts, Diane.
Been following him since that amazing video he did.
So there's lots of, so you're struggling. I thought you were going to work a look ahead of time for nasty comments because you do actually have to hunt them down.
I really did want to. I remember I did have to recast a little bit.
Ooh, bitch. I forgot about that.
No, I know, but I figured, there's a couple of, okay, so here, Joel, someone has successfully been converted to heterosexuality. Big fan of Joel, someone stumbled across this interview, now a bigger fan of Joel and this podcast. Great job, guys. You both honor the craft. That's amazing.
It's honestly, and I tell this to everyone in porn, that's what you're going to find most of. Mm-hmm. You're going to get lots and lots and lots of praise. You really do have to hunt down these nasty comments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
they're in there, but
they're in there, and they're so glib.
Yeah.
You don't know me. You don't know me. Try. Come for me. I dare you. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you don't know me. How, like, they're so topical. And, like, I'm sure they didn't even watch the episode. They just saw something that, like, annoyed them.
Or... So
why do people hate Shonda more than me?
You could you could
Not
tell.
fair.
Shonda Rand, Jesus Christ. Why is still someone referring to himself as gay man when he has sex with women? That's as recent as 3 weeks ago. So that's basically somebody that
it's hard. I've kind of upgraded to my little status to more like pan. Because I really I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's I can never tell what the fuck I'm in the mood for. I enjoy the company of Ben. Mm-hmm. We've had this discussion before where I like having a boyfriend, and I like having a kind of relationship with a man. Whatever, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I have Marco around. That's why King Dorf is my boy. Excuse me. Hot, right?
Someone said Joel someone seems to be the Pied Piper of pornography.
I do convert people to doing it.
And
like because okay, all right, what I've started doing, and I did this all in England, and it's super sketchy, but I love doing it, is I love getting people off Grindr to do camera work.
Oh, okay.
If you reach out to me on Grindr and say, I'm your fan, and I'm needing a cameraman, there's a really good chance I'll be like, hey, you busy?
What are you doing? You want to watch us have sex?
Oh, you know what? Because honestly, before I did all of this, that would have been like my dream scenario. And not to say your job, not to dismiss the quality of your work.
Don't worry.
You don't need to be a rocket scientist to hold the rig for an OnlyFans shoot. It's going to be infinitely better than if one of us idiots is trying to like tilt it on like a radiator.
Or put it somewhere.
Yes. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You're absolutely right.
Even like the most garbage footage is still better than a lot of the like steady camera stuff that I see sometimes. And especially from myself. The other thing too is I'm like Cutler X. I'll just tell you to do something. Like, I don't care. I'll break the fourth wall. I'm like, hey, camera, can you do a panning shot? I'm butt fucking someone, and I'm like, hey, can you do... I did that on the film just now. I was like, hey, tell me his eyes are open. Cameraman, tell him to keep his eyes open while I throat fuck it.
Meanwhile, the whole time, I'm like, are they going to kill him?
I know. Wasn't that great?
That was Gag the Fag like there's no tomorrow.
Oh, my God, right?
I came across those videos by accident. 2002, 2003. I don't even know how long ago, but I remember that was the first time I have ever seen somebody throw up while getting like face fucked. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, people are really into this.
I was so into those. I fucking loved those videos. Those were one of those videos I remember like laying on my ex-boyfriend's bed with my like Dell laptop out and being like, I'm making a masturbating session.
He would be a good person to look up and try and interview.
Oh, I've talked to him.
Yeah?
He's very interesting.
Oh my God, put me in touch with him.
Yeah. He's a real interesting dude.
Where is he based out of?
He was based out of Palm Springs. I think he's either in San Francisco and Palm Springs now. Look him up. I'll try to reach out to him because I begged to be on that fucking series. Well, it's a series that doesn't work as well nowadays.
Yes, for many reasons.
For many reasons. It was also a little bit more of the humiliation than I personally like to do now in my life. Like, now when I actually think about it, because they used to write in the copy, it was a little diminishing. Like, I remember the copy would be like, Eddie decided that he wanted to make some money instead of working at McDonald's because Eddie's a McDonald's worker, except today he's going to choke on some cock. Or just like, even more, there was kind of a negative tilt in the sense that the bottom was lesser than because he's choking to death on penis.
Joel is so funny. He's like the Robin Williams of porn.
You know what? Some really, really snarky gays, said something that was very funny to me. But they said I'm more like the William H. Macy of porn.
Okay.
They're like, your career is more like William H. Macy. And I was like, okay. Like, it had to take me a second. I'm like, they're Fargo. What else did that motherfucker do?
Hey, this is great. Oh, William H. Macy, he's great. He's kind of like we said before. I prefer the careers. I don't like the skyrocket careers because there's only one way to go after that.
I'm sorry. Maybe I do want to be a Heath Ledger of porn. Give me a break.
I like the
Philip Seymour Hoffman of porn.
Yes, the consistency. Well, I mean, those people are...
Robin Williams died too.
Yeah.
So, I'm saying.
William H. Macy's still alive.
Yeah.
Well.
Thank you.
And shameless. So this is a good... Look at this. The greatest gift to American culture is Joel Someone getting gagged by Julian Torres.
We just talked about that. Just talked about because I always, with the suck scenes, I always try. I'm like, if there's not a butthole involved, I really need to go all out.
Go ham.
Like, go ham.
And what did you do?
I held my eye open and he ejaculated into it. Like, like that was the funniest thing in the world. Is I remember when we watched it, you were like.
I also remember afterwards, you were like, did you get the shot? Yeah, I got it. But your eyes started getting red almost immediately.
All right, I'm sorry. If you've lived long enough, someone's ejaculated in your eye. It's not that weird. You know how it feels. That's not even the 10th time I've had cum in my eye, okay? I could deal. The trick is Visine and like flood it. Flood it with Visine, get all the jizz out. Don't wipe it. Flood it with Visine. I used to see that in straight porn more. Like straight porn does some raunchy things to those girls. Like that's like a whole, like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that's normal. I feel like, yeah, like me. That's what I mean is like doing something like that. I had already seen in like a straight porno.
And I enjoy that. I enjoy that you watch the straight stuff and try to put that kind of stuff in. I would love facials more. I would love to shoot facials more often than not. It's always this, you got to shoot on the ass. You got to shoot in, like, if you're doing the suck scene, you shoot in the mouth. I get that. But facials are fun. Sometimes somebody wants to get a little cum on their face, and there's nothing wrong with that. A little bit.
Well, and what was great with Devin was like, since we were one of the reasons I love the hard gag stuff is his like, I shoved it all the way down his throat, and he gagged on it.
Oh, there was no fiction to this,
and it poured down, and it just glazed.
Yeah,
glazed his face, and his eyes were like glazed shut. Yeah, and I just pulled him up by the hair, and it's just like,
oh no, his eyes were open the whole time.
So gorgeous.
it was something else. People are either gonna insanely love that or not like it. It's the weirdest thing. But then again, it's Treasure Island, so I think they'll fucking love it.
You know, the people who complain, and I'm sorry, I don't mean I'm. Trolls, I'm talking to you. I know this is your creative outlet, and I get that. Email me. Email me at joelsomeone@yahoo.com, and I'll send you a free porno. Anybody, if you've gotten to this point, you've heard me cry about my dad and fucking rugs and claiming I'm not gay. This is the Easter egg. This is the classic Joel Someone Easter egg to show that you've watched enough of this bullshit of me. All right? So ask for the Easter egg, joelsomeone@yahoo.com. Thank you, trolls.
So, Joel Someone, I don't think that you are as despised on the podcast as...
I'm really not. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. I just feel bad for Sean Duran.
The poor guy. Well, Sean Duran's... Okay. You know who gets a lot of what Sean Duran gets is Marco. Is he quiet? And people don't realize a lot of these dudes who are like really, really hot and then have kind of like that stone look, and I don't mean to out them, they're kind of shy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And back in the day when they were goofy looking, nobody gave a shit. But now that they've had like a glow up and they're hot, they're like, you're a mean gay. Like, what the fuck's your problem?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Just because I'm one of those people who can't stop talking and I keep a smile on to like relax people because I have like sad, resting deli owner eyes that make people uncomfortable. I do. Everyone in my family has like are stone faced Italians.
That's so specific though. Deli owner.
Yeah.
Are you guys? You're Italian.
Yeah, very
Okay.
Italian. Like, if I just like,
how did Italians end up in New Mexico?
oh, are you kidding me? Italians have been like jumping on the Southwest forever. It's funny. I went to an exhibit about in Santa Fe, New Mexico, that talked about kind of like the settling of the West. It was a bunch of Italians who were like opening up shops and stuff like that. That's what my dad did. My dad was an ER and a helicopter paramedic, and they opened a hospital and they needed helicopter paramedics. So it was like, come on out there. You know what I mean? It was the land of opportunity. It's like New Mexico's cool. New Mexico's cool. I miss New Mexico.
New Mexico. I do. I've been there twice now. And Santa Fe, Taos. Where's that place? The oldest house in the...
Oh, yeah. That's out there. The oldest house in America, I think. Yeah. The Living Pueblo, the Earth Ships, the Zobra, Balloon Fiesta, the fucking Carlsbad Caverns, White Sands. I used to be a Kilimanjaro safari driver for Disney, so you can tell I'm like giving you like the casino on your right.
Yeah. I would like to go where they did
Wild Hogs.
The
See that fucking Tim Allen movie that was filmed out there?
Oh, I haven't seen that. I know of it, but
Just kidding.
So
I'm just kidding.
This one's really nice, and it's from 4 years ago, and it's from the first episode that we did together, and it's from Honey LeBronx, and she says, okay, the last 3 to 5 minutes, I definitely got teary-eyed from some of Joel's comments. It's so affirming to hear some validation or someone validate that there is something gay porn has given me beyond just sex.
That's really sweet. Once again, I'm really sorry, Sean Duran. Everybody hates you.
Listen, when I get a couple of bad ones come in,
oh my God!
ones,
Please add them on at the end. Add them on the end.
I'll call you and I'll.
Yeah, I'm not tearing up I'm not tearing up. It's just that there's these lights. They're really hard on my eyes. Thank you, Honey LeBronx. It's hard, and this is the part you might end up having to cut. Is we don't teach sex ed in school very much. They do a little for straight people, zero for gay people.
Yeah.
We are like gay people desire to be with others. You know what I mean? We desire to find our tribes. We desire to feel to belong. And it's what makes us stronger. Porn is an outlet of our sexuality. Mm-hmm. Good, bad, ugly. It's the blueprint for the way we have intimacy with one another, sadly. And so it's sad to think that young people watch porn because, like, that's sadly the truth. It's sadly the truth that that's the only place that they're able to see sexuality. And I honestly am proud of what I do. What I do, if the version of me when I was younger found it, might not have learned as many toxic traits. You know what I mean? Okay. I might be a little more fraternal. Like, I wouldn't have had to kind of learn all of these things and go through all of these lessons as hard. I maybe wouldn't have struggled with such low self-esteem for so long. You know what I mean? Like, this job every day is surreal. It's surreal. It's gotten bigger every year. Every year I've seen you, I'm more and more blessed. There's more opportunities. I have made a living. I'm successful. I'm really lucky. Like, I have the best fans. Like, you know what I mean? It's hard because I've talked to you about kind of sometimes feeling like an outsider. And it's like, people appreciate that. They appreciate, I've appreciated being an outsider now. So I'm like, I'm okay with my outsider.
And I know this now because of watching a lot of porn from not even gay erotic films from the 70s. I haven't gotten into the 80s yet, but once the star system started being what it is today, that's what creates this factory of pornography, let's say. If you watch movies from the 70s, you would have fit in perfectly because, yeah, the money's great, but you enjoy what you're doing. And you can see that on film. If you don't, I just did a shoot not too long ago, and I can tell that the person was just doing it for the money. And that's all fine and stuff. I get it. But when you can see that this person's having a good time and doesn't matter how long they're there, they want to get the best shots, they want to do this, that's really, really cool. And you are kind of that person.
I like being that person who comes with ideas, but that doesn't step on a director. Because there are those too. There are those who are directing the whole thing. And I'm not that. I'm not that. I'm not the person who's going to stop the set for like little details that don't matter. But like when I was telling you about the gangbang, I'm like, I want this. I think I'm going to go out of the way and get costumes. I know you'd be on board. I know you'd be like, fuck yes, I love that idea.
Anything to spice it up or spruce it up is always welcome, so don't worry about it.
I also know my limits. Like when I work with the buy stuff, I will put in my 2 cents, but there's already 3 straight dudes bickering about nonsense. So it's like not jumping in that. You know what I mean? Those are the days when you just kind of like let it ride because they're already dealing with like, you know, how her pussy hair is parted or something like that. And it's funny. I catch a lot. I'm sneaky because I have those Ray-Ban Stories glasses, which I love those. I catch so much behind the scenes shit.
I'm thinking about getting a pair of those now.
You should.
Yeah.
They're so sketchy. There's the footage is garbage. They're garbage, but every once in a while you'll catch like gold or catch someone off guard saying some like random bullshit, which, yeah, you know, whatever. But they're great for those moments on set where you're just like, what the fuck's going on? Like, you know what I mean? Like I caught all the boys arguing about because they were doing the underneath the table shot of a trans girl putting her foot in my crotch and like jerking off my foot with her crotch and stuff like that. And just to hear them like, no, 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 no. I have it on camera. It makes me laugh. And it's not like I'm keeping this from me. I posted it on Twitter. They love it because they were there. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? I caught it. And so it's just like, that was always my dream. Like, it's one of those things that like, I don't mind giving more of myself out there because I know that that's what makes people enjoy it, is it makes it human. I think it makes it less cold. It makes it feel like something you could do. Like I get people all the time asking me, how do I start porn? And it's like, I used to say, I'm like, do this, this, and this. And it's like, I just tell people, you know what? Start applying places. Start taking attainable. Put up dirty pictures of yourself on Twitter. That's the first step. If you want to be a porn star, the first step is start being a thirst trap. Like I've talked to Jason Mark, who I work with in Palm Springs. He's like, and he said this to me actually. He's like, you know, you're not really like thirsty enough on your like Instagram and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. Like it needs. He's like, I want someone who's like showing off their body. Like he's like, those are the people we hire. The ones that are like flexing and doing gym selfies and are like, look at me, I'm beautiful. And I'm like, okay, great. You know what I mean? So I tell new people, I'm like, start making if porn producers see that you have a thirsty Instagram, they're gonna be like, this guy wants to show off. Let's get him naked on camera. First step, easy. It's a confidence thing. I never had the confidence to do that. It took years for me to have the confidence to like stand up and pull my shirt up and be like, look at me, I'm sexy. And once you do it, you done it. It's done.
What's next?
What's next for Joel Simon? Oh my God. Hey.
This is like 7-Up. You know that documentary series from Britain where they would interview, it started in like the 50s or 60s, and they interview the same group of people from like, I think there's like 12 of them, and there's 7 in the first one, and then 14 in the next one, and then 21, and it kind of captures their lives as it keeps going. I mean, granted, this is 4 years, but still, like from 2019 to now. What's next? What do you see 2025, 2024 and beyond until the next time I see you?
You know, I'm getting out of the fuckets. I'm getting out of the kind of hiding phase. I'm definitely trying harder with like my OnlyFans. You know, I love doing studio. I will always love doing studio. It's my favorite part of porn. Like, that's what I said. It's like, it's beautiful. It's the Hollywood of porn. But I've really been enjoying the idea of creating my own content. And I just created actually a really, really funny porno with Otter Gunnar in Portland or in Seattle when I was out there. I went out to Seattle and I met this performer named Otter Gunnar. And we just did a regular like fuck scene, but there was like funny parts about it, and I didn't realize it. And then there's this guy in LA who has like a 13-inch penis who I like having sex with. He's not a porn actor, but he's just like a dick I like to go sit on and thank. Like literally, I'm just sitting on his penis and I'm like, thank you so much. Or like whatever. Side note. But to get to this penis, he made me watch the worst TV ever. He made me watch one of those paranormal documentary shows where it's all like talking heads and bullshit like that, where it's like Satanist priest Eddie Redmayne is telling you about like no, and he has like there's a terrible clip that shows nothing,
like a reenactment. Or...
No, there's like a clip that shows like a tetherball getting thrown across the man, and he pops up and like clearly it shows that the paranormal have crossed into the realm, and just like. Some asshole. Who the fuck are you, Eddie? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And I remember thinking, like, God, I want this guy's dick so bad. I want it so bad. I'm sitting watching this bullshit show. And so...
He made you work for it.
He made me work for it. It was very much worth it. But when I got home, I realized that Otter Gunnar's an incredible editor. And so him and his friend created Joel Someone's Haunted Holes, our own paranormal documentary version where he makes funny noises. We have little like cutaways of like interviewing us. It's like me talking about how it was very fun. And then we had Jonah Wheeler put on the priest thing.
Oh my God.
And he spoke as a satanic priest. And just cause like, you know what I mean?
Oh
like
my
it was,
God.
I love shit like that.
I would love to do something like
I'll
that.
I'll send it to you.
Oh,
Jonah. I'm glad Jonah got brought up. I fucking love that boy. Yeah. He is my spawn.
Yeah, good kid.
He went to the AVN Awards with me, and I barely saw him. He is such a good like partner in crime. Like him and I were both like Wonder Twins, and then split apart. Like truly, like he's one of those people who's just so chill. He's not needy whatsoever. It was like we barely saw each other over 2 days, and then like there's this new performer named Camden Dean who's got like a 9-inch penis, of course. And I just invited him over to have sex with him while Jonah was there. I was like, hey, Camden's going to pound me out. Do you want to suck on his dick a little bit too? Like, and he's like, yeah. And it just, I love that. I love that. That's why I love finding rando dudes off Grindr to hold cameras. And I love the weird. I love the kooky. I love the unexpected because I know how much I loved that when I would watch porn. So that's kind of my future. I'm trying really hard to make more of these things that have more thought than just me hiring a camera guy and filming, which is already a lot of work. But I am trying to I did a suit shoot with NYC where I had us all wear suits, and I'm just
I saw that.
I'm slowly kind of getting a little more. I want there to be a little more of a running theme. Like I kind of almost want. I want Joel Someone's fantasy world to be created. Like, you know what I mean? This stupid, and for me, it's like Joel Someone's wacky world. Like that's what it is to me, where it's like a total gag, where it's today we're all wearing suits. Yeah. Tomorrow we're pretending to be Mormons.
It's funny you say that. While I was researching for the podcast, I saw this street orgy from the 70s, and everybody was just kind of wearing their own, there was basketball player, baseball. I was like, that would be hot. Like if people just almost like Halloween, but it wasn't Halloween. You knew it wasn't Halloween. These people were wearing actual outfits from.
It was like a swingers party.
Yeah.
It was just like, we're throwing a swingers party. Wear a costume.
Wear something you feel sexy in. And people just,
Oh, and how crunchy were all they too? Like it was probably, what was that stupid? It's not, was it Let's Make a Deal? What's the TV show where they all have to wear costumes in the audience?
I don't remember that.
It's Wayne Brady is the host of it now.
Whose line is it anyway?
No. It's one from it's one from like the 60s and 70s where you have to like you pick the doors. Anyway, you'll write it on the thing. Like just write it in the copy. Like
with the little gremlins, with the little cartoons.
No, that's something else. That's whammies. No, that's not that. No,
no whammies.
No whammies. Stop. Anyway, yes. Sorry. Are you sure I'm not a faggot? I'm sorry. Trolls, are you sure I'm not gay? I'm bringing up antique game shows and all of this stuff. I'm like, I don't know what else I have to do. Let's go antiquing.
You're just going to have to...
Watch old movies with me.
Yeah. You're gonna have to meet each and every one of these trolls.
I would.
Yeah,
That's funny. That's the thing. I would.
You can change your name to Troll Someone.
Troll someone. Troll someone. Troll someone. But I would. If you have nasty things to say about me, I don't care. I'm not taking it personally. I'm not going to catch you outside. I don't have that in me. I don't care. Like, if you want to say it to my first show, I'll be like, okay. Or maybe I am. It's hard because I deal with this with other performers too, where it's like because performers look different in person. And I've never understood when performers get so upset with you when you don't recognize them. I'm like, you're an internet person until I meet you. I deal with a lot of internet people. Same with the trolls and all of that stuff like that. It's like, you don't exist until I meet you. And once I do,
that's crazy.
I'll shake your hand, lovely. But like, that's the only way I can live my life. I'm sorry. I was talking to you and you were like, talking about how they're like, yeah, they say I talk too much and then they want me to see me naked. I'm like, wow, you've already read way more than I am willing to read sometimes.
Well, funny, but it's
you're also not as well loved as I am. I'm sorry.
I am not. I agree with that. My thing is I'm a behind the scenes person, and my thing is trying to make something look a certain way. And if I can't do it for a studio, I can do it for what happened.
But you deserve this.
Oh. Well, I'm more comfortable doing it.
I was gonna say,
yeah, no, I'm absolutely more comfortable doing it. But the thing is I enjoy the historical biographies and all that stuff. So when people ask, "Oh, hey, we'd love to see you do this," and I'm like, "Oh, great, I'll give it a shot." And then, as uncomfortable as I am, I'll give it a shot. And then you'll have that one person. Why do you have to be in it all the time? And I'm like, "But
it's
not
one." See, and that's
I know that's
it's one person.
Yeah.
And that's what's so, and I feel for people because it's like, I'm about to hit 200,000 followers. 200,000 fucking followers. That's unbelievable to me. It's inflated. It's not real. I'm sorry. It's not like Instagram followers.
Fun.
I'm sorry. I know.
Oh my God.
It's
Instagram
only like
followers.
20,000 followers in Instagram language.
Instagram followers, geez.
Are hard to get.
Yes,
they are. But anyway, side point. It's just, how can I listen to that one person when I have 200,000 people willing to subscribe to my shit? Like, how many subscribers does a YouTube channel have now?
33,000. 33,000.
That's 33,000. And one person.
Oh, I know.
One person.
And my favorite part, and I'm so guilty of doing this sometimes, all the time. I take all the good ones, so I have to take the bad ones. But sometimes I'm like, does this person have any merit? Like, I'm curious. There's little call outs for no reason other than I know more. Good for you. But I, like, all of my research.
Start a show.
Yeah, exactly. All of my research
show
is there. I have all my references. I deep dig and deep dive like there's no tomorrow when it comes to that.
But it's but we all can also, but to be perfectly honest, like, do you watch RuPaul's Drag Race?
No.
Oh, you don't?
No, I stopped watching.
See, this is the one who's not gay.
I stopped watching after
you don't watch
Bianca Del Rio.
Okay, but you've watched it before.
I have.
And I'm sure you critique the show with your no drag ass knowledge.
No,
you don't. You don't watch it and you don't say that lip sync sucked or that dress sucked or that wig is flat. You never.
I'm going to be the worst gay person right now.
I'm already sick of you.
I never enjoyed drag queens.
Wow, you went. Wow, oh my God, dude.
There were few and far between. There were slim pickings. No one will ever be RuPaul. RuPaul's not even RuPaul anymore. But RuPaul's making money now. I remember RuPaul from KTU, from the RuPaul show on VH1, all of her albums up until like 2014. But Bianca Del Rio, RuPaul.
So you like a couple of them?
Yeah, a handful. You know.
But what I'm saying is, I watch RuPaul's Drag Race and I watch the show and I critique it. We all kind of do that. There's something you fucking do that with. You're just not. That's
sure.
just. I chose a bad example. Thank you for not going along with my example.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. It would have just been so much easier, but it's okay.
You know, because I've never actually been asked that, but I see drag queens and porn get really lumped together for some reason.
I've never put a wig on. I have never done makeup. There's zero reason I should have. I don't write critiques. I don't go online and write them, but I do critique them, like kiki with my little girlfriends and whatnot, about like this, and be like, oh my God, I have no idea what this person is experiencing on this television show that's been curated for me. You know what I mean? So it's like as much jest as I put towards my trolls, that same experience goes for them. You know what I mean? I'm a hypocrite. I have critiqued others that I have no experience of. You know what I mean? Same could be said for you. These people who are critiquing your show are just like, they got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
It's them trying to kiki. And the other thing, too, is it's text, so it's toneless.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
These little quips. Like, I love sending Grindr voice messages. I love doing that. I love sending Grindr voice messages because you can get the tone of the room. You feel what this person sounds like. The human voice is so beautiful and is so much more than just like quick little like text. And you could have a little bit of nuance in your humor. You could play with people more as opposed to what you write, which might seem really cold and distant or really bitchy or really mean. You know what I mean? Because we speak as gay people, we speak in many different
various different.
Girl could be said slang. 1,000 different ways. By the way I say girl, you could tell what my Chipotle order is. Right? So it's like I don't forget that you are reading cold text. I'm sure the person in Buffalo, Washington, New York, Buffalo, New York, Buffalo, New York, Buffalo, New York. Sorry. Whatever he's doing, he thought he was, like,
yeah,
I got you, bitch.
Good for there are some times where I'll take them and I'm like, oh, that's a very good idea. But no, yeah, look, anything you put out there, even with your scenes and stuff, anything you put out there, that's like those are your babies. You're kind of, well, no pun, but those are kind of you're putting them out. You're offering stuff that's not clickbait.
Oh, totally.
That's not clickbait. That's not dumbing people down. That's not like there's certain.
I feel like, but you know what though? I feel like people are also a lot softer than they used to be. People don't give criticism anymore.
You're right.
You know what I mean? And sometimes we need it. I'm sorry. Like, sometimes I have a stupid haircut. Thank you, Marco, for telling me it's a stupid haircut, asshole. But still, thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We lack criticism, and now this is the only venue for criticism. And you know what I mean? I don't think it's all bad.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't think it's all bad.
I do enjoy constructive criticism a little more.
I'm not going to flip out and tell people they're turfs for their little quick comments. Because, first of all, if they read them, they don't deserve air. That comment deserves to suffocate. It deserves to be the impolite comment it was that fell on the ground and nobody responded to.
Yeah.
Sorry about it. I'm like, do you really believe Joel Selman with his 200,000 Twitter followers is going to respond to your bullshit? Pass. Sorry. Who is this? There you go. Sorry, not to go all the way off on trolls and stuff like that, but you see how it affects people.
Yeah.
That's what breaks my heart is when I meet performers who I look up to and who I'm like, wow, you've done things that really matter. You've done things that touched me. I was not able to verbalize how what you did touched me. And hear them bitching about like the fans being so mean to them. I'm like, the 9 people, those 9 people, and those 9 people will come back because you fed them, because you gave them a little like, I don't what's like fish food. They come bobbing up for it. That's why I imagine it's like, oh, there you go, trolls.
No, yeah. There's a smart way to respond to them. I can moan and bitch to you because we're talking about it, but
we can kiki. I also have very little patience, so I apologize. This is my dad energy. This is my dad energy.
It's
like
okay. It comes from a good place. That's the thing. So I can take it. Well, that's constructive criticism. No, I know, and I'm stronger than that. That's not going to take me down. But the thing is, it's like, okay, well, I would never say that to you, dick face. But we digress.
So we talked about death, antiques, AVN. What's going on with you? When's
Talk
season
about
5 coming out? What's coming out next?
Season 5 is coming out as soon as I finish season 4, like almost immediately after.
Who are you chasing?
I basically do 3 bios and 1 interview. And I do some movies in there from the 70s and stuff. And then
I've not watched any of your history ones.
ones are fun. I would definitely, I'll send you
Send me like
the ones that I thought was like the Joe Gage one.
The Joe Gage one.
Because I feel like Joe Gage is one of those directors that you would have loved. Like, so I do a director, I do a movie that the director did, and then if he worked with a model a lot, I'll choose
Showcase the model.
Yeah, exactly. And so many of the guys, unfortunately, because it's in the 70s, were not like they didn't make it past the 90s, and so
isn't it crazy?
It is. So there's Joe Gage. He basically introduced the Midwest man to gay porn.
The Marlboro Man.
Yeah. So he did that. And Richard Locke, who is this guy who was awesome. He was like this hippie gay porn star who was building geodesic domes in the desert. I like the idea that you are Joel someone. Your story is more out there than a lot of these guys. These guys started this industry, and it's almost like an homage or paying respect to where you came from. Like, this is one of the only careers you don't have to go to college or learn about all that stuff.
It's true.
Beforehand. This is like a college because I'm getting to
It's a finishing school.
It is a finishing school. I'm getting to see all these people that came before and made all of this possible. The people that got arrested for just not distributing across state lines that thought pornography was lewd material and would put you in jail for stuff like that. People that spent a lot of years in jail.
It's amazing. Like the idea, I tell people all the time, it's like the fact that we live in a culture that on television they speak about OnlyFans creators and like, you know what I mean? Just the fact that that's said on national TV, OnlyFans is such a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. For years, people wouldn't even say pornography on there because you know what I mean? And so it's fascinating. No, and speaking of dead porn stars, I saw it amazes me the weird things you find on the internet. I remember I found this one video because, you know, when you're just like, you find everything. I found this video and it's hard because I've known so many people die. It was a video of all these girls. And each one of them was a girl in like some performance. It had her name, her stage name, the year she died, and what she died of in like clips. And it was weird. It was this masturbation reel of like dead girls. But it was in a way that was so strange. You know what I mean? It's just weird the way people's brains work and the way that they digest sexuality. And there's something so Warhol and surreal and weird about when you stumble across these things that are people's masturbatory aids and at the same time are just like so moving that you get like a visceral reaction to it. Like people don't realize it's like it's easy to piss on porn.
Absolutely.
Porn is art. Porn could be art. You get a visceral reaction to porn. You ejaculate.
Yeah. And
You're watching it and you are reading so deeply into it that you ejaculate.
You have a specific connection for a specific amount of time, depending on how many times you come back to the same clip or depending on how many times you come back to the same movie. You can go anywhere. But the thing is that whatever you're watching to get off on that moment has.
If you are consumers of lots of porn, start a journal. Every time you jerk off to porn, try to play with your head. Because we all do this. When we're getting close to the pop shot, write down what's in there. Write down the things that pop up, the things that it represents. Because I remember, like I said, I remember when I would watch those things, the little things that brought things up to me, like the way a man touched another person's lower back. I'm like, oh my God, that's something a father would do to a son. Look at him, he's getting pounded out. Or the dwarf with the fucking the ankle monitoring bracelet on his thing, where it was like all of a sudden I went from like, oh, he's a hot dwarf. I'm like, oh, poor guy, he must be struggling with stuff. Like, da da da. Still coming. Write it down. Truly, write it down, because I've gone through, since I've watched so much porn, it's made me really kind of look at a lot of it objectively. And it's helpful. Like, you know what I mean? I don't mean to seem like, oh my God, porn therapy, but if you watch enough of it, you're trying to talk to yourself. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You should be listening.
There's a lot of people that will never understand, and that's fine. But for people that do even have a healthy relationship with porn, unhealthy, whatever the case may be, there is something to be said about the people who have lived in the dark for so long. And, you know, there are fans out there from porn stars from the 70s and 80s. I find, like, to do something on this person, do something on that. I loved this person. It was different back then because there wasn't so much of it. But
yeah, but
now,
you know, but believe it or not, but now, yes, I agree with you. But now it's so nuanced. It's even more pointing to like what things are in your head.
The person behind the camera, or the person that put it together, that's what you're seeing is. If they're like, I want to do a scene about this, and that's why the scripted ones from the 70s and 80s, even now, like when you look at scenarios, the scenario is so the person that wrote it without even, and then you get these guys who are like, yeah, I can do that. I'm totally into that.
Me,
yeah,
me. Like it's one of those things that I'm like I made good friends with the Next Door Studios guys, which was incredible because I never thought I would be like someone that the Next Door Studios people even remotely gave any air to. And I was hanging out with Walden Woods and Jeremy, and they were, you know what, they've been doing really cool stuff with disruptive media, and I got to work on a really fun set, and they give cool scripts. They have really interesting themes and really kind of fun, dark play with sexuality. And that's where I thrive. And so I like that. I like the seancles. I like the carnal medias. I like these people who are creating this psychodrama kind of pornography. And it's becoming a lot more prevalent. It's less like you stumbled upon like a family dick scene and you're like, oh my God, am I supposed to look at Austin? Is this the dark web? It's not that anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's you meet those fans, and they'll walk right up to you, and they'll be like, oh, my God, amazing. How do you do this? That's awesome. That's fucking badass. Done. That's it.
You've been watching Demystifying Gay Porn. I'm your host, Ike Grande. Demystifying Gay Porn can be found on every podcast directory as well as YouTube. Demystifying Gay Porn is on X, Facebook, Instagram, Substack, Threads. And if you like what you're watching or listening to and want to be a part of the process, head over to patreon.com/demystifying gay porn, where you can support this podcast and YouTube channel, and I can continue making content like you've just enjoyed. As always, don't forget to subscribe, give this video a like, leave a comment, and let me know what else you'd like me to cover. This is Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is Ike Grande, and if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped you get off.